Howdy, folks. My name is Billy, and this is my first YouTube video, so go easy on me. Now, I have made a number of videos on Facebook. I actually have a little site there where I make motivational videos, where I make spiritually oriented videos, and I make these videos in the hopes of helping people avoid some of the mistakes I've made, some of the false ways of thinking that I used to have. And, in doing so, I don't want to be judgmental. Everyone has the right to live their own life, to live their life as they please. But I know there's a lot of people out there looking for answers, looking for help. They feel that they're on the wrong path and they want to get straight. They want to make a better life for themselves, for their families, etc., etc. Now, in order to understand where I'm coming from, I have to tell you a little bit about myself. I'll get into greater detail as I make more videos, but this video specifically has to do with alcoholism, alcohol abuse, alcohol addiction, however you want to refer to it. When I get into this topic, believe me when I say I know what I'm talking about. I am a recovering alcoholic. Next month, I'll be exactly 3 years sober, and it was one of the best decisions I've made in my life. Before that, I'm 41 years of age. My alcoholism, or my way down this path, began at approximately the age of 20, when multiple problems in my life, personal problems, arose, and I was looking for a way, looking for answers, looking for a way to calm the worries, the problems, everything that was going on at that moment. And I'll be perfectly honest, when I first started drinking, I hated the taste of beer. Little schnapps or, shots, they made me sick. But then the feeling came, this disassociation, altered state of consciousness, if you will. And it made the problems easier to deal with in that moment. But the ironic part is, it seemed only as if the problems were dissipated. The alcoholism, the money I was giving out, and the problems that arose from this alcohol abuse only increased the problems, and to a point where you couldn't even begin to believe. With shame, I admit, I lost multiple jobs, wonderful jobs, multiple relationships, friendships destroyed. I put my own mother through hell. People that cared about me, I dragged them through the very hell I was going through. And I regret that, and it's sad, and it pains me to this day. It hurts my soul. That wasn't all, though. Amongst the numerous physical problems, heart problems, I don't even want to know what my liver looks like, even after 3 years of sobriety. But multiple problems. I wound up in jail because of my multiple DUIs. And at one point, I even had, near fatal accident. I actually cracked my skull. You could see how many scars I have up here on my head. I cracked my skull. I had cerebral hemorrhaging. My girlfriend at the time was a nurse in the ER, and she was there when I flatlined on the table. Now, I have been fortunate enough that my life continues, that I was given a second chance. And that's why I'm making this video, in the hopes that I can help other people avoid the mistakes that I've made, avoid losing wonderful things that you have, losing wonderful people that you have. I want to go back very quickly to my multiple DUIs. Friends, regardless of your level of how you partake of alcohol, whether you're a casual drinker, whether you feel you may be headed towards alcoholism, no matter what you do, above all, please do not drink and drive. Please, please, please. I have been so unbelievably fortunate that I have never hurt another individual, and I am so unbelievably thankful for that. I already have so much pain in my soul for the numerous mistakes I've made with my alcoholism days. I cannot even imagine how I would feel if I had took an innocent life or even caused someone else to suffer because of my alcoholism. That is something you do not want to live with. I thankfully do not have to. I know people who do, and I am so thankful. I mean, it hurts bad enough, the people that I have indirectly hurt through my alcohol abuse, the hell that I have put my own mother through, weighs heavily on my soul to this day, despite the fact that I have made a 180 that, that I know that I will never touch another drop of alcohol again. I still have to bathe out the problems that I've caused for myself in the past, and it hurts, and don't ever let it get to this point. Now, how do you go about overcoming your addiction, your abuse, your alcoholism if you feel you're headed down this path? This is a very difficult subject to approach because every individual is different. Because of my multiple DUIs, I've been through numerous classes. I've learned quite a bit in these classes, but I can honestly say, for me personally, they didn't help so much. I realized that there were psychological problems that I had to deal with. There were personal problems, personal friendships, or what I thought were friendships, that I had to nullify, that I had to say, hey, I got to walk away for myself. It took me flatlining in the ER in order for me to do so. As much as it may hurt, as difficult as it may seem, you may have to distance yourself from people who are not doing you good. You know deep in your heart who's doing you good and who's not. There's a lot of times we think we have good friends and we realize they're only dragging us down. Take a break at the very minimum and you see. Now, another tip that I could give. Alcoholism, I had so many hobbies before I started drinking and started going to the bar every night. When I reflect, it pains me because I know I lost so much in my life where, I could have done so much with that time, where I was sitting in bars, wasting my money, wasting my health, wasting my life. I had fun at times, but, it's just not worth it. And if you realize it's getting to be too much, and if you even have to ask yourself if it's too much, then it is, friends. And if you're suffering from alcoholism or even going down that path, first of all, I recommend the book, The Hidden Joy of Being Sober. I picked that book up when I was in Ireland. On the way home, I read the entire book on my 6-hour journey home. It was that intense for me, that wonderful for me, to hear from someone else, to know that someone else had these exact same feelings that I had. Now, I was hoping to bring the book with. I forgot it. I'm at work, and I'm getting ready to go into work. But I recommend that book. It is an excellent read, and you connect, you realize you're not alone. And that's what you got to remind yourself, too. A lot of times people you drink too much because you feel lonely. You go to the bar because you see those people and, you're sharing this moment in the bar and you think, I'm not alone. But the thing is, you're never alone. There's always other people. And when you're trying to overcome alcohol abuse or alcohol addiction, alcoholism, believe me, you are never alone. There's always other people, and they will commend you and respect you for making that choice. There's going to be other people who will laugh or call you weak. Those people, they do that because they're weak themselves. There's an old saying, you call other people what you secretly are. Before this gets on too long, I'm hoping to make a number of videos, but I want to conclude with this. For so many years, so often, I've tried to quit in the past and failed and then thought, no, you have to first believe and know that you can do it. And believe me, if I can do it, you can do it. Anyone could do it. We don't realize and understand the power that we have within ourselves. Don't listen to what other people say. Listen to what you tell yourself. And if you wake up in the morning and look in the mirror and say, my use of alcohol or any other substance has gone too far, I'm going to change it. Then you can do it. Believe me, I've heard so many people, and that's the worst thing you could ever have, is someone tell you you can't do it. If someone tells you you can't do it, cut that person out of your life, if only temporarily, until you get yourself on the right path, because you can do it. I have done it. I'm coming up on 3 years. 3 years, and I only ask myself, why didn't I do this sooner? So if you're sitting there and you're even contemplating giving up alcohol, do it. Just do it for yourself. I still have fun. I have an outstanding life. Far, far, far better than when I was drinking. And I still go out and have good times with friends. And when I wake up the next day, I feel wonderful. I could look in my wallet. There's still money in there. I know where my cell phone is. I remember what happened the night before. And I don't wake up with a throbbing headache, grabbing a bucket to puke into. It's an outstanding feeling. And every time I ask myself, why didn't I do this sooner? So I'm going to conclude here. I hope this hasn't been too boring. I hope I kept it interesting. Like I said, in regards to everything that I've lived and experienced with alcohol, I could go on for hours, but I want you to realize that if you feel you have a problem, you could write me personally. I can't promise that I check every day. I have a very young daughter that's very demanding, time consuming. But that's all the more reason that I'm happy that I quit. Because in conclusion, a lot of times I drank out of loneliness. But I found my outstanding fiance when I first decided to put alcohol behind me, when I was faced with that choice. Am I going to lose another wonderful relationship, or am I going to finally get my head on straight and do what's best for me? I made that decision almost 3 years ago. Forgive me for tearing up. In exactly 1 year, my first year sober, almost on that anniversary date, my fiance became pregnant with my first child. And now that she's here, I can't even explain what a wonderful feeling that is. To know that my daughter will never see me drunk. After all the hell that I put my mom through in other relationships and friends, and that I lost, and the hell that I put myself through with my alcohol abuse. Deciding enough was enough was the best decision I ever made in my life. So friends, if you're looking for answers, if you're looking for hope, believe me, it is possible. You could do anything you put your mind through. Believe your mind too. Forgive me. Very emotional now thinking about it. You can do it. I recommend the book, The Hidden Joy of Being Sober. I recommend finding hobbies, finding the joy that you had before you turned to alcoholism, and find these things that once made you happy, because there was always something that made you happy before you turned to alcohol. Dwell on these things. Check out that book. I don't have the author's name in my head. I apologize. I'll write underneath in the comments. Friends, it was the best decision I ever made in my life. If you're deliberating, if you're asking yourself, or if you think it's getting too much, please seek help. Look within if you have to. If you feel somehow you can't do it yourself, then go to a counseling. Seek out other recovering alcoholics, because God knows there's enough of us out there. You can do it. Believe in yourself. And when you do it, and when you pass that first week, that first month, Then comes the first year, and it gets better and better and easier and easier. You can do it, and believe me, it is wonderful. You see how things fall into place when you get your head on straight, when you get your life in order. I'll stop now. I wish you much love, much success. Heed my words. Do not make the same mistakes I made, because Lord knows I still suffer for them, and it still weighs heavy on my soul. But I'm just thankful I woke up. I ask you to wake up with me.